Hey everyone, welcome to this edition of Ecommerce Insights. I'm your host, Scott DeGrossier, founder and CEO of Wicked Reports. I'm here with a very special guest, Mark Murrell from Get Maine Lobster. How you doing, Mark?
Good. Thanks, Scott. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic, thanks. It's Friday. Tomorrow's my birthday. You probably forgot.
Oh, I did not forget because it's my daughter's birthday too, and our friend Alyssa.
Well,
There's
I wish
too
you
many 11/7s.
I should have been second in that list, if not third, behind Alyssa, but I'll forgive you.
You were first.
Thanks. So, I mean, when you started, you've obviously come a long way making, what's that, 7 figures now in paid. But I mean, was it just like you started running ads and lo and behold, you were making money? Like, how did it all go down?
Oh yeah, I mean, from day one, just printing money like it was nothing. Running ads is just the easiest thing in the world. No, quite the opposite. Really, the company was bootstrapped, so every dime mattered. And I was super frustrated with our initial efforts because we jumped into it, and I was like, I sell a great product and I treat people well, it's going to be easy. But it wasn't the case. I think I spent like $4,000 and got one sale, and called you up and was like, what the hell is going on here? I'd suck. I just didn't know what to do. So I knew was that I was a good storyteller, right? And I can write a good email, but ads was a whole different ball game for me.
So what was I recall pretty well, because I've had to speak my origin story, which kind of matches your origin story of starting to make money on it. Do you recall there was a specific strategy that we tested out that, got you opening your eyes that, hey, Facebook can make me money?
Yeah, I mean, we started talking about audience and looked at, displaced New Englanders. And to find that creatively, you look at Red Sox fans in California, or Bruins fans in, Texas and things like that. And so we're like, all right, well, that makes sense because it's going to resonate and I'll probably capture their attention. And then slowly, then you add affluency triggers so that you're not just, because we have an expensive product and it's perishable lobster that delivered to your house. So not everybody can afford it. Implementing all those inputs was essential and something we did not do in the very beginning.
Yep.
So as soon as we did that, we started to see results. We're like, oh, okay, now we're getting, a return.
I recall the Red Sox Patriot fans that don't live in New England was because Boston was getting a lot of grief about sports dominance. And we're like, people don't like New England fans? Laughable now. That was the first time I'd ever crossed my mind. I was like, why wouldn't they like us? So I remember it was like, I would name the ad sets likes, Pats, no NE. That was how we could tell which target it was.
That list is probably still in there.
That thing was gold, man. You made 10-1 after 3 months. Then it was like the big light bulb moment of, holy crap, this might work. So, I mean, that was kind of your first foray into marketing attribution. We didn't really call it that. You just said, hey, is this working or not? I mean, that was like, the goal. But, when you first started using marketing attribution data, which you just were saying, okay, I just need data to know what the hell's going on. What was like one of the first things you would use it for that would be helpful and that you could understand and grow your business with?
Well, we really wanted to know which campaigns had a short sales cycle, right? And a good enough ROI. And then also know that, because, we started getting into lead gen, we know that we're not going to make money in the first few days, but when do we make money, right? Because you have cash flow constraints and all that. And what's that magic number? How much should I be investing in? When does that return come? Is it 30, 60, or 90 days? And then understanding which points along the journey got the most conversions as well. And then which parts of the journey did some fall off? And then you go and tweak that part, right? And run experiments. And, the only way to really run an experiment that you can act on is if you're really tracking, all components of the experience. So you have to have a good attribution model. In order to do that, you can't make good decisions.
I remember you were really keen on new leads versus ones already on your list. You talk about that, because it ended up being a big factor in how we've, reverse engineer our software, but you were really hell bent on that. And it was very hard to answer you. I can now quite easily, but it was very hard at the time. What was
one of the things I geeked out one day and just saw this massive value. People were reordering more than I thought. And I saw this tremendous value in just constantly shoving new leads into the system. When you look at a cohort analysis, right? And I knew that if I could get enough people in, and then at the major holidays, there's a pretty good chance they're going to buy on most of those majors. So I needed to have a constant flow of leads coming into the system. We're really good at nurturing and developing automated campaigns to bring people along, despite how difficult of a product we have, to sell. So to me, it was just extremely important to always have them coming in, so that you always need new people, because we're not something that you're going to buy every month. We hope for that, but that's just not the reality. This is we sell a celebration product. And so we got to get as many people in the system as possible in order to grow.
Yeah. Plus, you never know when someone's ready to pull the trigger. That's different than like a direct response approach where you're just trying to get them to lead them to a sales page and just try to buy, which I know you do a lot of that as well. Is there a different approach you take? Somewhat different, I imagine, you're trying to get people to buy, even if you're getting lead gen, then you just want them to buy right away anyway. But is there any different approach you take towards the initial experience with them, or the ad copy, or the targeting, or anything?
Even if we don't ask them to join our list the first time, we will ask them on a direct, request as well, just because we've learned with this particular our AOV is 190, right? So I don't know how many times you've gone out and bought something for $190 that you didn't know of before.
Melissa more than me.
True. But, I don't do that. $50 maybe, right? And be like, maybe once or twice I've done it, and probably 50% of the time, it worked out, and where I was happy with the product. So regardless of whether we're saying, hey, we got a great deal for you, and we'll send it to your email inbox, or, hey, we got a great deal for you, go and buy it right now. Regardless, we're wanting to collect their email or phone so that we can engage with them and stay in touch with them when the time is right for them. And like you said, we never know. For everybody, it's personal. They could have, driven by a Red Lobster and been like, wow, our anniversary is in 2 weeks. I saw that ad. What was that name? And that's the other thing, right? Which is cool about Wicked. I hit them up. They drive by Red Lobster, and it's their anniversary in 2 days, and they somehow remembered our name, and they search it. I can still attribute, that experience back to them. So I'm like, all right, that's okay. However they convert, I'm fine with. I just want to serve them.
You said that really well. Yeah, because so many times when you're looking, people in the ad platform metrics, they're just thinking, oh, they saw that ad and they immediately pulled the trigger. Not many people are going to, some people are comfortable, but not a lot, pulling the trigger immediately on anything. I never first hear something and immediately spend $100 on it. I got to at least size up the situation. Do they have other people that do this sort of thing? Reviews, get on their email list, see if I'm going to get a discount. When do when someone panic buys, maybe in the holidays is different when you're like, oh crap, I need better gifts. Then you got to pull the trigger on the gift cards right away. But
yeah, I think when you have a major holiday, it's a little bit quicker, and then you can loosen up. But, for example, this Labor Day to Columbus Day, right? So this year we've been lucky, right? Well, not lucky, but a lot of gratitude that we were one of the businesses that scaled in a big way because of COVID. Now, that was because protein wasn't readily available, restaurants were closed, so we can give them a really cool experience at home. And we had a bunch of major holidays: Easter, Mother, Memorial, Father, July 4th, Labor Day, right? And then you got nothing till Columbus Day. But you know that you have the holidays coming up. So, all right, let's get a bunch of people in and let's just talk about cool stuff and get them to be warm and welcomed. And then we're going to hit them up again come November. And then, of course, we have an election. And so that's always difficult as well, because uncertainty impacts consumerism. But if you get those leads in your system, you can communicate with them, right? And they get to know you until boom, all of a sudden there's no more excuses. I got to try this thing out. This guy's not going away, but he's so entertaining, I don't want to unsubscribe. So there's like this weird, it's art and science, and when you know that and you're okay with having them drive, you want to drive them as quick as, as much as you can, but still you got to be okay with the consumer going on their terms. But you want to know what their term was, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does.
So, and that's essential.
So then that leads me to email tracking, because I recall that was something that you were able to get your brain around really fast, was, sending an email, some sort of, your email strategy is pretty tight, but you would send off broadcasts based on all these Hallmark holidays I'd never heard of. And of course, then I'd be like, oh, he's really reaching on this one. Why would he do that? But then the data seemed to back up that it was a good idea. Who cares what anyone's opinion is? It's making you tens of thousands of dollars when you click send on those emails. Was that like the first tipping point of, wow, there's power in the data, was like the email data? It seemed like I recall you used to dig in there a lot. And stats were fun because they were profitable, right?
Yeah, I get super granular with behavior, and we're super taggers. So we kind of have a pretty good feel about an individual. And then, email marketing just gets better and better and better. The technology gets better and better and better, so that we can hyper segment, understanding time of day and day of week, having all that data to know that what we should say to who and when for the highest propensity for conversion. And it's a lot of experimenting. We're heavy emailers, but we try to make it fun so that it's entertaining as well. But yeah, we get super segmented. And I think that's important, because people want to feel like you're talking to them. And in reality, you are. Like when I hyper segment, I'm like, all right, I want to get these people that looked at BOGO 7 for 7 in the past 45 days, spent, 3 minutes on the site, haven't purchased, but have purchased within, 90 days. Right. So, so I know that they were thinking of refilling the freezer. So subject line, time to stock up. And that is going to click with them. Right. So as a marketer that's using a tool like email, if you have the technology to understand their behavior over time, then you can deliver something irresistible that they're like, holy smokes, how does Mark know that I was thinking about stocking up the freezer? And it's like, wow, I just put 2 and 2 together.
That's data-driven porn right there. I love it.
Right? It is.
Yeah.
Seriously, it's awesome. But that's just being a thoughtful marketer. That's all. Leveraging technology. And I'm lucky in that I have somewhat of a understanding of tech mind, but I'm also a creative. So I think it comes natural for me, but you almost need a combination of people or things in order to do that art and science.
Do you have any memorable lead to email realizations, or specific emails that did better or worse due to tracking, or ads that outperformed or underperformed what you thought? Just to jog your memory, I have one was from your birthday a couple years ago. You had done, hey, I want to play, it's my birthday. And that was the subject line. And I was like, I want to play a game. And it was, you offering some sort of complex discount structure based on
well, no, yeah, I used 2 different codes. I do this one periodically where 2 codes, same value, or sometimes I go 2 codes, different value. For example, St. Patty's Day, right? So if you're Irish, you get 20% off. If you're non-Irish, you get 18% off. And I said, be honest, but who cares? I won't know anyway, right? And so a lot of people use the non-Irish, which was, I mean, it's interesting, right?
Yeah.
So when you see that, you're like, that says something about human nature. But yeah, we like to do 2 coupon codes, same value, but mean something. We literally just did one the other day where it was butter and mayo, same
My
value.
marketing lady loved it. She was like, "Oh my
Yeah.
God, Mark's a genius, butter mayo." I don't remember the email. I didn't read it.
Yeah.
I get a lot of email.
And it performed pretty good. And it did not perform well in the first one, but the remarket of it performed really well.
What does that mean, the remarket? So you send it out in the morning, and then what makes you you just resend the same email or not, or certain people?
Almost all of our emails have a remarket in mind, So we always will remarket to people who will split them up. Those that looked at it and didn't take action will say something slightly different. And those people that didn't open it, right? If they didn't open it, hit them up again. We get a lot of emails, and FW:space line at the top. Hey, I just wanted to make sure you got this because I think you're really going to love it. It's fun and I got a deal for you, kind of thing.
So you send the same email twice to people that didn't buy. And then what's like a average revenue difference, or how much does that add? So does it double the revenue for that email doing that, or 50%?
Sometimes more. Like this week, it was like 3 times more the remarket was. But when we actually engineer it and spend a lot of time building the campaign, with the intention of knowing the remarket or even the next remarket will perform better than the 2 previous, they do really well, So we'll start off with a deal, knowing that the deal is going to get even bigger in 48 hours. And then we're saying, all right, I'm pulling out all the stops, and then they just react to it, right?
So these are things not as many people are doing that you think. So it's paid lead gen, and then redirecting them right to the offer, and then emailing them consistently, but with, unique offers, not just on sale. So everyone does on sale, but you're still actually just saying, hey, come buy my stuff. It's on sale, but you have, just thought behind it, and then resending the same email. Because that's what enables you to, those email tactics are what are enabling you to spend more on the leads to then grow, because the emails are converting those leads that aren't buying right away because of all the reasons you mentioned and plenty of other ones. So then when you're on top of mind with the email, you get the purchase, which drives up the ROI of the Facebook and Google lead gen. And then each month when you get the sales coming from emails from leads from the months past, so you can buy more leads this month, and it's like compound interest, which now, I mean, you went from 100K a month to $1 million a month in 5 years. I mean, not many people do that. So hats off to you. It's good work. But it was like,
thank you, sir.
Strategery. Sure.
Well, it was came down to spend, right? And having tech and getting the art and science down, which, art and science never ends. It's just a continuous education and experiments. But when you have all the tech, you have all the data, it's kind of hard to fail. You got to have a good product and you got to treat people good. It's hard to fail if you have the tech and the data, as long as you can, be real with people and have fun and give them good product or service.
Good, clean fun. And it's profitable. The American dream right there, ladies and gentlemen.
Right?
Okay, well, I know everyone can follow you, can find you at Get Maine Lobster. We can put a little promo in the podcast email. We send it out. Be a free podcast sponsorship for you. Don't tell my future sponsors. Nice. Any closing thoughts that kind of summarize things kind of nicely? I know we're going to do another episode with you on specifically this e-com lead gen strategy. So we won't get into that anymore. Anything else? You just waving hi or waving bye to someone on this Friday afternoon?
No, I mean, I kind of said it, but art, science, data, tech,
That sounds nice. That sums it up
that's
well.
it.
Thanks for your time. Thanks to all our listeners out there for taking the time to listen to the E-commerce Insights podcast. Take it easy.